朋友们好，我是西澳大利亚大学的临床微生物学教授马西尔巴利. But today I'm going to speak to you in English as I answer questions from the Nobel Prize Laureate Summit Committee. This summit is to be held on May 8th to the 10th, 2015 in Tianjin. I have several questions here. The first one is, no Chinese-born medical scientist has won a Nobel Physiology or Medicine Prize. From your experience and knowledge regarding China's medical industries, would you please tell us one existing advantage or disadvantage in any of China's present medical atmospheres? Well, I think perhaps one of the reasons China has not won a medical Nobel Prize is that medicine is seen as a profession and a career structure which provides security. So people go into medicine for the income and the security, and not so much for the sense of adventure, the plan to cure cancer or other diseases. Now, this was very important in the recent generation because people in China perhaps weren't particularly secure. They were living in good times, but maybe they didn't feel that these good times were going to last for the rest of their life. But nowadays, the generation of people coming into medicine in China after, say, 2010, they can be more adventurous. They can make exciting discoveries. They don't just have to follow the career path and obtain a salary from the health system. They can be a bit more adventurous and perhaps choose less important or less well-paid jobs if they are interesting and exciting. And so I would say this is going to place China perhaps where Australia and America is at the moment, where the younger generation is not necessarily just trying to generate a salary. They want to have an interesting career and accomplish something new during their career. Second question, in my opinion, what major advantage would you use to attract Chinese-born medical scientists researching abroad to return to join the fight against human disease in China? Well, one of the things that's happening in China is so many people are putting together regional biotech hubs and teaching hospitals linked with these. There's certainly many scientists now well trained in China. The basic sciences and mathematics and IT, which supports new discoveries in medicine, are all in place. In fact, some of the largest supercomputers in the world are all in China. And then China has, of course, a large population, but as I see, one of the values it has in medicine is that it channels difficult patients into regional hospitals specialising in that disease. For instance, if I was doing research into diabetes, I would probably be able to find a hospital in Beijing which specialises in diabetes, and I could obtain as much experience as in a year as another doctor in Australia or the United States probably would take 10 years to obtain. So this is going to be a big advantage, and people are going to be able to test out new hypotheses, new drugs, new treatments, new diagnostics on large groups of patients, and find out which treatments are working and which doesn't, and perhaps see patterns in the disease profiles which have been missed because we just didn't have the patients in concentrated numbers before. Number 3 here, according to the Georgia Institute of Technology report, by the year 2030, in terms of ability, China will surpass the United States in transforming its research and development into products and services that can be marketed to the world. Certainly, transformation or translation of research and development into products marketed to the world is one of the things that's growing in China. In the past, I think everybody's been a little bit cautious about China because it was felt that intellectual property was not being properly protected in China. And so there wasn't an incentive to invest a lot of money into a new product and actually have a higher price for it. Well, that is changing now. I have to say that from outside China, there's still some nervousness about collaboration and transfer of technology into China. As the market in China matures and people see the value in it, I think this will change, and the future is that a lot of new products will be developed primarily in China and then exported globally. If this was true, what advice would you give to help China develop their future world markets? And do I feel that curing cancer would be emphasized as a 20-year goal? Why or why not? Well, practically for China, I think rolling out 21st century medicine as it is at the moment to the rest of the population is going to be important. And this is important because it prevents cancer. So of course, many of the very common cancers in China are preventable. For instance, a campaign against cigarette smoking would certainly be very useful, and that would impact on lung cancer. We do have vaccination of everybody against hepatitis B, so that is going to ultimately result in decreasing liver cancer, and my interest, that of Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria that infects the stomach, that causes stomach cancer. So just with eradication of that bacteria, we could actually almost eliminate a whole type of cancer. And the other two cancers I mentioned, which are very common, could also decrease with public health measures. So as far as bang for your buck, prevention and education of the community about health risks are going to be very profitable for China in the next, say, 30 or 40 years. Being able to cure cancer means that you need to have education programs and screening programs available. So that means rolling out 21st century healthcare all over China and having everybody accessible to it. Unfortunately, in the bureaucracy, the government people are often worried about spending money, and they don't want to spend more money. Therefore, you have to have a transparent system for assessing new health advances and working out the cost and the benefit of these advances. Because initially, looking for a new disease might seem costly, but if people are healthier and work harder with happier lives, with longer lives, then you get the value back many times over. So this is a continuing battle in every country, but if you have transparent processes whereby new technologies and new drugs can be assessed and the health benefits demonstrated, then these new health advances will be available pretty soon throughout China. In my personal opinion, considering China's present medical markets and supply chains and having been an important voice in the medical field, what changes or additions do you think will be made in China's medical fight against human disease over the next 20 years? Although people in China have a feel for traditional Chinese medicine and personalized medical care, they also understand the concept of evidence-based medicine. And many diseases, particularly infectious diseases of course, can now be totally cured using modern drugs. So patients in China like to access both systems, but they know that when they are very unwell and might die, then 21st century medicine is what they want, and 21st century surgical processes is what they want. So it's the business of the Chinese health system to make sure that the evidence-based medicine is properly funded and maybe even subsidized for the whole community to encourage people to use the medicine or the medical managements which have been proven to work. And then they will be getting the best value for their health dollars. So in a nutshell, the message is evidence-based medicine pays off, and educate the population to look for the evidence whenever they are considering any kind of medical treatments. This will become interesting in the future when genomics is going to result in personalized medicine. And this should be particularly successful in China. And I'm looking forward to seeing that develop over the next 20 years. Final question. On May 8th in Beijing, at the Nobel Prize Laureate Summit, the NPLS organising committee will officially announce the Nobel Prize Star Award winners. The NPS Awards are to encourage innovative medical thought for the creation of new medical ideas. Can I offer a few words of advice that could help inspire our young audience of medical scientists working to make a difference in China's general public health status? For young doctors and medical scientists, I think the advice is going to be the same as the advice I received when I was a young doctor. Firstly, listen to your patients and keep an open mind. Develop and test new hypotheses about your patients' symptoms and signs. Read widely. Choose the difficult path, because then you can become a leader. And new technology might make it actually very easy in the near future. Thank you.